Hello, I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, can you say something in the comment just to check if the microphone works, please? Hello everyone, can you say hi? I know Facebook take a little bit of time to show me the comments. You can see there's a few people coming. So yeah, first of all I wanted to thank everyone for all the messages that you guys sent me, and I wanted to make a quick live event to give a little bit more information about the RIC and give some update about what's happening in France. So could you please just say hello on the comments so I can see who is there and I can connect with you. And if you have any questions, this is the reason why I'm doing this live event, to interact with people who have any questions. I received hundreds of messages like, I'm sorry, I can't answer everyone. It's not humanly possible. I didn't really plan that video would be that viral and that many people will respond. I'm thrilled to see that this message touched that many people, but I'm just a simple man trying to do something positive to the world, so I'm not really equipped for treating hundreds of messages every day. So yeah. Hi Jonathan, thanks for saying hello. How are you today? So yeah, I'd like to do some live video here and there to interact with people, because it seems that a lot of people doesn't know where to start. And yeah, there's a lot of things happening in France as well. I'd like to give you an update, cash update. So, watching from Ireland. Hello, Clara. Is it Clara or Ciara? Ciara. Hello, Ciara. How are you today? So, first of all, I wanted to... Hi, Hunter. I wanted to give some information about the RIC. I will do a video that will be a bit more structured, but just to give some updates. First of all, I wanted to basically set people, it doesn't have to be complicated. The only thing you have to do, I reckon, is to basically take your yellow vest, write RIC on the back, R-I-C, and basically go out and just wear it every day. Just wear it every day until people will start to talk to you and start to engage with you. How, Johan? Hey, brother. How, Matthew? Jacksonville, Florida. Wow, yeah, it's unbelievable. Like, the amount of messages that I receive from all across the world is unbelievable. Yeah, 500,000 views in 3 days, and like 3 days before I was completely unknown, so that's pretty remarkable. And the message is very, very clear. We need to have a constitutional right to trigger a referendum. People need to put that in their brain. They need to understand that there's no point getting out, having a yellow vest, if it's not for a purpose. The purpose is not to go out and protest for the millionth time. The purpose is to go out and send to the world a message, and that message is, we need a right to trigger a referendum from our own initiative. Hey Adam, big protest is London, beautiful, beautiful, 12th of January. So before the 12th of January, I wanted to send a big a message. I wanted to send a call for the 22nd of December, next Saturday. I wanted the whole world, like I wanted you to spread that message that for next Saturday, 2 days before Christmas, 8 days before the end of the year, I want the most people, like the more people possible, to take the yellow suit, write RIC on their back, and during the whole week, I want you to go out with that RIC and written next to it, Referendum Initiated by Citizen. So the people start to see, start to understand, like start to realize that it doesn't have to happen just on a riot. It can happen on a day-to-day basis. Like when you do your shopping, when you go and see your friends, instead of having a jacket, or you take your jacket and you put the yellow vest on the top. That's something that anyone can do. It's not complicated. It doesn't require a huge amount of investment. A yellow vest costs about $5 to $10. and you write RIC behind, and you basically go out and you wear it all the time until people ask you, what the hell is this referendum initiated by citizens mean? And that's when you hook them. That's when you can explain them, look, we have been programmed to believe that the only way we can make our voice make sense is to protest and to go out and basically make some noise and then go back to work and go back home for nothing. Now it's time for us to stop. It's time for us to come from the teenager perspective where you basically scream and yell and you're not happy into a space of responsibility and adulthood. Basically, the adult doesn't yell, doesn't scream. The adult put a strategy in place. It analyze, it find the disease and put the patch or the antivirus. And that's what the RIC is about. The RIC is the antivirus to our sick democracy. The RIC, referendum initiated by the citizen, is the constitutional tool that will allow us to have a voice, and it's time for us to do it and to impose it to the power. So I'm going to answer a few questions and then I will explain you how we can put that in place. Thank you, Lionel. You have my support and respect. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you. Like, you're amazing. Like, I couldn't believe the amount of messages. Like, I received probably between 700 and 1,000 messages. I think less than 1% was negative. I maybe received like 2 negative posts over 500 to 800 messages. So it's really heartwarming to see that it makes sense. People get it. There's something that is triggered, that is moving forwards and forwards and forwards. And even in France, like, a lot of people didn't know about the RIC a few weeks ago, and now they're all like, oh shit, this is so simple. Why we didn't thought about that before? Why we protested for years and years and years for legal right, for women's right, for minorities, for vegan, for marriage equality, but why did we not put in place a system that could trigger national referendum? This is such a simple idea. It's not rocket science. Like, we need to have a constitutional right to change the system instead of begging the people that we elected. The people that we elected are rulers. They are our masters. They are the people who basically tell us what we need to think, what we need to do, what we need to put in our life, and it's over. This is the relationship that parents have with teenagers. We need to come from teenagers to adulthood now. It's enough. We can't just wait for those people to tell us, or do that, or okay, like, I'm gonna think about what you think because, like, I'm the adult here, you're the boy, you're the girl, and I'm gonna tell you what is good for you. Enough. It's time for us to move from that space to another space, and I believe that this is what scares a lot of people. A lot of people are afraid the same way teenagers are afraid to leave the house. It's a natural process, so I fully understand what people feel sometimes, like, oh, whoa, I need to be responsible for what I think. Yes, buddy. Yes, it's time. It's time to be responsible for what you think. It's time to stop whinging about, like, liberal and Republican and Labour and left and right and immigrant. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. Common sense isn't about left or right or good or bad or up or down. It's about, like, taking the big perspective about things and analyzing the different aspect of it and finally finding the best solution. Check a little bit. So this is like for everyone in the UK. Buses going from all over the UK. Good. Change constitution voted by citizens. Beautiful. The link for the 12th. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. Roman, I have a very important question. How do we stop the far right from hijacking this movement? Beautiful question. Great. The only way we can do that is to basically repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat again that this movement has no politics. This movement is coming from citizens, from people far, 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 far from any form of political movement. The only way you can avoid people to mix into the yellow vest, because anyone can actually take a yellow vest and say, oh, I'm a yellow vest. So you can have like people from left, people from right, you can have anarchists, you can have like royalists, you can have whoever you want. That's not the problem. The problem is that what do we want as a civilization? What do we want as a group? And what do we want needs to transcend the separation, the illusion of separation between left and right. So the only message that can actually fit everyone is the right to trigger referendum from our own initiative. This is very simple. Like whoever you come from, no matter if you're even an anarchist, anarchy would love that. There's no power, no archos, it's demos archos, demos kratos. So the power to the people. And power to the people start by my voice matter. What I'm saying matter. And the only way to make it matter is to impose it to the masters that we've chosen. Okay, so the only way you can avoid this is to basically be clear. The people who are violent, the people who are from the left, the people who are from the right, the people who are from the center, from wherever you want to come, you are coming as a yellow vest and there's no colors on it. There's none. There's just 3 letters. R-I-C. That's it. That's the 3 letters that you need to write on your vest. All the rest is irrelevant. Merci Romain. De rien, Jean-Pierre. The protesters need to remove themselves from the action and agent provocateurs. Of course. So okay, let's talk a little bit strategy now. So what is a government? A government doesn't exist. It's a concept. It's a system. Okay, so it's a pyramidal system based on I have a ruler on the top and then the people above are believing that that thing is having any power. So let's think about it for a minute. What a president power does he has? None. The only power that this guy has is to make you believe that you don't have any power and that the power that you gave to him is real. That's the truth about the government. The government doesn't have any power. Like Macron, like I'm sure you would give him, like I'm sure he wouldn't even be able to cook an egg. So which power this guy has? None. It's only based on us, people, and it's including everyone. It's including the military, it's including the ministers, it's including the labor, it's including the agriculture, the teachers, the doctors, it's including everyone. We, the people, represent that power. We are this power. So we are the employers. And this is important that we need to understand that. We are the employers. The people in so-called power, are our employees. So when the employees tell to the employers what it has to do, what's happening is that we have the mess that we are in. The employees basically decide that, oh yeah, I want to destroy the environment, I want to pollute the atmosphere, I want to pollute the water, I want to pollute the food, I want to invade countries, steal resources, create debt, blah, blah, blah. And we, the employers, doesn't do anything. And that's wrong. That's definitely wrong. We need to understand that concept and how we are the power. Without us, nothing exists. Without us, there's no society, no services, no economy, nothing. So we are responsible for what is going on. And the reason why so far we didn't have the possibility to act and to change the world is only because constitutionally we have been programmed to be powerless. The Constitution is the set of laws, the supreme laws above everything that are basically structuring that system. So instead of fighting a person like we're doing, like people want to fire Theresa May, yes, so what? They're going to put another puppet and then another puppet and then another puppet? Instead of fighting the puppet, what about cutting the string? That would be a little bit more clever. Because like when you cut the string, then you can't put any more puppets. And the only way to cut the string today is to regain power. We need to be able to stop them when we feel we have to do it. So how do we do that? So the RIC, referendum initiated by the citizens, there are infinite amount of RIC. But let's say there are 4 who are the most important one. And let me explain them to you. The first one is called the legislative RIC. So what it is, it's basically the power to the people to engage and propose a law and say, look, 1%, 2%, 3% of the population think that this law needs to be needs to be proposed to the rest of the population, so the rest of the population can decide whether this law needs to be applied or not. Let's take the example of the gay marriage equality. Some people, 1, 2, 3% of the population. I'm not sure that the gay people will actually represent 1, 2, 3% of the population, but let's imagine that they want to ask the rest of the population if they need to have a right to get married. Okay? 1, 2, 3% of the population come together. It represents, I don't know how many millions of people. They sign a petition. That petition is then reaching a point where we can now ask to the rest of the population what they think about it. If the rest of the population, or a majority of the rest of the population, vote that this is okay, that this law needs to be implemented, we don't need to ask anyone else. We don't need to ask the government, we don't need to ask the parliament, we don't need to ask the Senate, we don't need to ask the president, we don't need to ask anyone. We, the people, make the decision. So this is the legislative REC. Then you have a second one, which is called the revocative REC. So the revocative REC is that if, for example, a representative made a campaign claiming that he's going to reduce the carbon emission and stuff like that, and the first thing that he's doing is actually promoting the carbon emission, we need to have a constitutional right to revoke him. So how does it happen? Again, 1%, 2%, 3% of the population, I don't know, we have to decide how much. Come together, sign a petition, send that petition to ask the rest of the population, do you want to keep that guy here? He's a liar, he doesn't do what he's been elected for, he needs to get out. And that's very simple. This is called the revocative. So we revoke the person, we fire him. Why? Because we are the employers. If the employers cannot fire the employee, we are powerless. It's crucial that we understand that. The third referendum initiated by the citizen is called the abrogative. And the abrogative means that if a law that has been passed by whoever elected person isn't resonating with you, you can then again ask to 1, 2, 3% of the population to come, to sign up that document and say, we refuse this law to be applied. Like, for example, in France, we had that law that basically said that organic food can have up to 1, 2, or 3%, I don't remember exactly, 3% of GMOs, and that would still be labeled organic. It's like, who can seriously believe that this is okay? Who can seriously believe that even 3% of GMOs could be, even 0.0001% of GMOs could be labeled organic and that would be fine? Like, seriously, like what level of stupid person would accept that? But the thing is that we can protest and protest and protest and go out and claim that we are not okay, we're not okay, we're not okay, until we have the power to impose our will, we are slaves. Okay, so this is called the abrogative RIC. So this is the third one. And the fourth one, which is the most important one, is called the constituent RIC. And the constituent RIC, as it sounds, is the referendum initiated by the citizen that allow us to modify the constitution. If we don't have the right to modify the constitution, which is the highest supreme text of laws, which undermine every other laws, from which all the power is taken from, if we are not capable of controlling that constitution, we're not even teenagers, we're babies. We are babies. If we come, like even like express to our parents, like what you're doing is wrong, because they basically say, yeah, like whatever, I'm gonna see if it's good or not for you. Like, if we're not even capable of modifying the constitution, if the constitution is written by the people who should be afraid of it, and no one think about that, like the people who should be afraid of it, the rulers, are writing the constitution, and we don't have any power to change it, seriously? And we dare to call that a democracy? We dare to call that a democracy. So RIC, R-I-C, is the antidote. We need all of us to focus on RIC, or we would basically waste our time. There's a lot of questions, so let me check. Thank you for all the plus. So you have inspired us to fight and write against the corrupt government. Thank you, Hunter. It's not about sides anymore. Beautiful. Don't stop till Macron is gone. Yeah, like he asked us to come for him. Like he better wait. Like we're coming. Basically we're coming. Look into the Iceland, what Iceland has done. Yes, beautiful. But Iceland couldn't, still didn't have the right to change the constitution. Iceland is still locked because they didn't put that right to modify the constitution. So the constitution is still based on prior to 2008 or 2009 or 2012. I don't know exactly when they kicked their bankers out, but it's not that great. But they need to bring the RIC in Iceland so they can actually finish and complete the process. Divided we fall. It's not about left and right. Of course it's not. Support from Quebec. Thank you guys. Make it take a button. Yeah, 100% people. Do you have any questions? Just ask questions, guys. Make it take a button. Yes. Avant, pendant, après le RIC, catholique constituant, mettre en place surtout. Yes. Do you think they cheated Macron's non-confidence vote? I don't understand the question. Do you think they cheated Macron's non-confident vote? Okay, so I think you're referring to the fact that we asked to some representative to vote, like to do the equivalent of the impeachment for Macron, but in the process, the majority needs to vote for that, and of course the majority will never vote for that because they are for Macron. So we obviously are in a crisis of democracy because the majority is for Macron. Macron, like 90% of the French people want him out, but their majority wouldn't want to vote against him because if they vote against him, they will have to dissolve the parliament and the assembly, and then they will lose their job. So those people who are only interested into renewing their job so they can just stay sitting on their chair and say, yeah, like how much do you give me for voting for that law? How much do you give me to vote for that law? It's just basically huge corruption now. And we need to face that truth. Like it's time for us to take responsibility and put in place the tool that will allow us to kick them out, to stop them. They're psychopaths. Like we need to see them as psychopaths. And what a psychopath is doing, it's doing mistakes over mistakes over mistakes over mistake until we stop them. Like a serial killer will just do it and do it again and again and again and again until someone will come and bam, stop them. That's the people that we have in front of us. They don't understand anything. They're completely disconnected. They have this sensation of being untouchable, that being so powerful that nothing can happen to them because they're controlling the media, they're controlling the justice, they're controlling everything, and we need to hit them hard. So they will understand. So the cure, the problem, the root cause, not the symptom. Yeah, exactly. Shane, Trudeau like Macron, same. Trudeau, Macron. Trump, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Trump, but a part of that, like I have huge respect for Putin. I have a huge respect for Trump. I don't know that much about the politics in China or India. But yeah, I can see in Europe, like we're basically under invasion. Like it's that state, that common place. Like, have you seen Juncker? Like this guy is a bloody drunk, alcoholic. He cannot even stand. Like how many times have we seen it? Like being completely drunk, and this guy is the president of Europe. Seriously, that's the best we can do. We have like I don't know how many millions people, 300, 400, 500 million people, and over the 500 people. We actually just end up with a bloody alcoholic, and that's okay, and that's fine. And guys, just go back to work, pay your tax, be a slave, just like be in debt for 30 years to pay a house that shouldn't cost that price, blah, blah, blah. And anyone find that okay? So, as you say, far right, what about the far left? Same thing. No one is far left or far right. We are apolitic, no politics. So if whoever is coming representing anything else than the citizens and the people isn't a yellow vest, and the message needs to be clear. Never pay attention to what others do. Always focus on yourself. The media will always try to make you believe that, oh, look, this far right or this far left is doing this and that. That's the job of the media. It's here to separate. It's the medium. The people who stay in between and basically push people on the left or on the right. You don't play that game. It's ridiculous. So don't think about the far left. Don't think about the far right. They are minorities, but they are the noisy minorities. So now the majority needs to be much noisier than then. You need to be louder. You need to make your voice be heard across the world. You need to take your yellow vest, write Rick on the back, go out every day with it. Every day. You go do your shopping. Everyone will be like, oh yeah, the French stuff, that's it. What is this all about? And that's it, you can engage a conversation. You can start to explain, have you heard about the Rick? Oh, no, what is the Rick? Oh, it's rich without an H. Oh, okay, what did it mean? Referendum initiated by the citizen. And you're starting to explain them. There's 4 types of referendum initiated by the citizen, and you're starting to engage and explain them. Basically, there's 3 steps. First steps is you ask the person, if you had to put one law today, if you had to put one treaty that would go beyond any others, which one would it be? So by doing that, you're attracting the interest of the person to what you're doing. And they're like, okay, I don't know, like, I don't want to work after 60 years old. I don't want to work more than 40 hours a week. I want to have like free pay days, blah, blah, blah. Whatever they say, I'll say, great. Second question, bear with me. The second question is, would you think that that point should be proposed to the rest of the population through referendum, and that if they choose yes, that law should be implemented into the law? Obviously, the person would say yes, of course. Yeah, I would love to have the opinion of the rest of the population, and if the referendum said yes, then of course I would love that law to be implemented into the law. Great. Second point. Third point is that you just understand what Rick is. You just understood what Rick is. And that's the power of Rick. It's that it's something that is common sense. Because we are processing Rick only from 0 to the petition. We are putting petition in place, but this petition is not organized, it's not structured. So what we need to put in place now is a system that will be unhackable, entirely safe, decentralized, that will allow people easily to vote for things that make sense to them. And it's not rocket science. Do you want GMOs to be implemented into your food without any label? Yes or no? Think about it for more than a second. Of course, it's going to be yes. Do you think we should impose 11 vaccines to newborn babies without any consent from the parents? No matter what you think about vaccine or not, we should be allowed to have the choice. Yes or no? And then you vote. And this should be done on the computer, on the phone, on a tablet. Like, we're spending hours and hours and hours on social media. We're wasting our time watching stupid things, and we can't even spend 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a week or 5 minutes a month voting for things that has like a national magnitude. Think about that. So when someone will see you with a yellow vest and Rick behind, you can trigger that conversation, and you basically explain to them, tomorrow, come back with the yellow vest. And do the same until everyone will start to wear that yellow vest with Rick behind, and they will be like, wow, it's happening. It is happening. Nothing is stronger than an idea that time is come. Nothing is stronger than an idea that time is come. It's now. It's happening now. Their bodies, keep going, my friend. Thank you. 100% agree. Everything for everyone, word over. Yes. Great movement for everyone to come together and fight. Yes. Respect from England. Thank you, brother. Do the French want to be a part of the EU? Do you think the EU is dissolving? Of course it is. Of course it is. The French people didn't vote. That's the madness of the system we live in. The French people did a referendum. We've been asked, do you want to go into the EU? The French people said no. Guess what happened? They changed a little bit the text. They modified like one comma here and there, and then they say, okay, now we're not going to ask you by referendum. We're going to ask the parliament, do you want to go into the EU? And the parliament said yes, and we call that democracy. The people said no. They move a few dots here and there. They show that to the government and the parliament said yes, and we're here being like, wait a second. Wait a second, we call that a democracy? Seriously? So to the question, do we want to stay in the EU? Of course not. Of course not. It's under the EU that the Immigration Act is put in place, that the Marrakesh pact has been put in place, that the whole system is a jail. Like it's a track. We need to get out of it, all of us, as quick as possible. We just need to have like financial exchange, economic exchange, but each country should have its own GST, its VAT. Each country should have its own rules and regulation, and each country should have its RIC. If each country could have this national right to trigger referendum, we would not live in the world we live right now, I think. So they want to sovereign, no EU, no NATO, of course. Can you set up guidance to England, to other countries to follow? As you seems well done, doing well done. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm explaining. I'll give you a guidance, guys. You wear your yellow suits every day, you write RIC behind, and you basically explain people exactly what I just explained to you. Legislative RIC, abrogative, revocative, constituent. There's 4 words to remember. There's 2 who are a little bit tricky. You just have to remember them. It's not complicated. Just watch this video again and again and again. You will see it's not complicated. Revocative, abrogative, legislative, constituent. And then you explain that to whoever you can. Your friends, your family, your co-workers, people in the street. Just remember what it is to be human. Just go and see someone in the street and say, oh, have you heard about the RIC? Oh, what is the RIC? Oh, Referendum Initiated by the Citizen. Oh, what is this? And you explain what it is. Simple. You know, they don't need to know if you're from left, from right, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're whatever. It's about having the power. It's about getting back the power to change the world. Hey, Drunker, yeah. Venus Project, La Solution, yeah. Venus Project is another topic, but fascinating one. Take Macron down, and the baker in charge will fill his space with another psychopath. Exactly. So there's no point about putting another psychopath to the place of another psychopath. There's absolutely no point. We need to cut the string. We need the RIC. Glad other countries feel the same. My English people make me feel bad for few. Don't think about the rest of the population. Think about what you can do every day. This is another trick. If you start to look at what people around you are doing, you are not doing your job. Your job is not to judge what others are doing. Your job is to inspire others the same way I'm inspiring you right now. Your job is to basically realize that you are someone. Because like we're always like, oh, someone is going to fix the world. Someone is going to change the world. Guess what? You are someone. It's time for you to regain your sovereignty, to grow some balls, to become an adult, to wear your yellow suit, to write RIC, and to go out. That's all you have to do. You can go and have a drink, and that the first time it's going to be a bit awkward, and then people will be like, oh, that's interesting. So you are doing that because you're in solidarity with French people, and say, yes and no. Like, of course, I'm in solidarity with French people, but it's about the message. It's about the RIC. Have you heard about the RIC? No, what it is. And here we go. You can engage conversation. Stop looking around. Look at you. Take a mirror, look at yourself, and say, what can I do to change the world every day? Yes, Jack Fresco, Venus Project. Absolutely spot on. It's divide and rule. Yes. They plan to make it a reality, and I think everyone should be sovereign to become the resource-based economy. Yes. French chick. Yes. The corruption stays in European Parliament, where parliamenters just come to sign a paper, of course. And until we do something to stop that, we are criminal in, how do you say in English? Like we are partner with them. Until we stop them, we are partner with them because they are doing this on our behalf. Remember that. When the French people invaded Libya and killed Syrian people, it's through our votes. We have blood on our hands, and I know England has that, America has that. Most of our so-called democracy have blood on our hands, and it's time for us to take responsibility for that and to change that. How many people died today in France? There's not that many deaf people. I think in total in the last 3 weeks, I'm not saying there's a lot, but there's I think between 6 and 8 people who died, which is huge. It's a huge number, but I think half of them are coming from accident or from people who panicked when the yellow vest started the group and starting to stop roads, and some people panicked and do stupid things, and unfortunately that's what happened. From the cops, we don't have the official numbers, but I guess there must have been at least 3 to 4 people killed by accident from cops who are shooting with plastic ball, but they're shooting people in the face. You have people who lose eyes, who broken nose, who had like broken jaw, exploded cheeks, exploded hand because they're sending bombs, dispersion bombs. We had horrible things, and everyone is focusing on protesters' violence, but they don't understand that we are peaceful people, but we're facing very, very aggressive people who comes with weapons. Okay, so realize what the media are telling you. It's not true. We are peaceful people. We just want to block the situation. Sorry. We just want to block the situation until we can implement the RIC into the constitution. That's it. Just an example. Twitter stand-up racism. Mamoun, I'm French. Cool. Find like-minded friend in fascist book. Yeah, Zeitgeist. Yeah, it's all started with Zeitgeist. I would stand with you guys because it comes from the heart. Well done to you, sir. My pleasure, bro. Problem is money. Problem equal money equal solution. No money. Project Venus. Yeah, guys, can you stop, please? Can we stay? Because again, if you focus on the Venus project, the Venus project has been designed, and the Zeitgeist movement has been designed about a vision in the next 20 or 50 years. How are we coming from today to the 15 years? How do we do that? By crossing our arm and hoping for the resource-based economy to happen? No, it happened through RIC. Okay, so focus on RIC, guys. Stop putting Venus project. It's good to have a direction. Great. How do you achieve that thing? If you want to go across the sea and you don't have a boat, there's no point dreaming about the other side of the ocean. Okay? Right now, practically, what can you do every day to get closer and closer and closer to the other side of the ocean? Build a boat, and this boat is called RIC, Referendum Initiated by the Citizen. Just like England, on n'a pas besoin de demander juste pour s'unir pour ce projet, oui. Toute la planète, l'oligarchie. Can you write in English, please, guys, so I can translate? Slave for money, great. I wanted to hear you say thank you. Trying to make people always easy. Are you on Twitter? Not yet. I need to create an account, but I'm gonna go on Twitter. Your job is not imitation, but to lead. I'm just leading myself, and I just try to inspire, bro. That's it. I just try to inspire everyone to do the same. Everyone to inspire others. I've been inspired by Jack Fresco. I've been inspired by Peter Joseph. Has been inspired by Gandhi, by many leaders who come from the heart and doesn't use violence. They use intelligence and strategy and being clever, because we're fighting stupid people who believe that we're stupid. And if we're acting as stupid, then therefore they win. Okay, the only way we can win is to be clever than what they expect. So if they wait for you to be focused on one place, just disperse yourself. Just organize groups. Operate like a cell, like small cells operating with other cells. Don't stay focused, because if you focus, you're rigid. If you're rigid, they can disperse and explode you. If you're moving, if you're fluid, they can't stop you, because we are the majority. They are the minority. Okay, guys, just keep that in mind. We need the evolution, not the revolution. Yes, we need to evolve, not to re-evolve. In France, they're not all awakened. So yeah, guys, please understand, most of the French people doesn't understand what I'm saying. Okay, don't believe that all the French people understand what I'm saying. Okay, so if some of you feel like, oh shit, I'm late, or it's new for me and blah, 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 it is new for us too. Like, let's say maybe 95% of the population, 92% of the population is new to the RIC, okay? There's only maybe 5 to 7% of the population who are aware of the RIC, but it's growing very fast. Like now the media are talking about it, politicians are speaking about it, Yellow Vest leaders are speaking about it, so the movement is growing really, really, really fast. So what can you do practically today? Create a group. I saw many groups, Yellow Vest Ireland, Yellow Vest Scottish, Yellow Vest England, Yellow Vest Australia. No, it's not about Yellow Vest, it's about RIC. If you stay to the Yellow Vest, you are only a teenagers protesting against the system. If you come with a RIC, you come with an antidote, you come with a solution. Do you understand that? It's not about Yellow Vest at all anymore. It's about bringing the solution. Like before, we were just powerless. We were basically here protesting, saying, oh, we're not happy, we're not happy, we're not happy. It's not about that. It's about, we want the RIC. We want the RIC. That's it. Okay? It's not about just like crying, oh, it's unfair, the dolphins are massacred, blah, 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 nuclear energy, blah, blah, blah. It's not about it's unfair. This is teenager. This is children. An adult will come and say, okay, let's be pragmatic. What is the problem? What is the solution? Let's implement the solution. End of the story. I go, thank you, Viva la Revolution, One Love Humanity. Thank you, Mamoun, Shane. But yeah, it's all French. Those French people. Bloody French. Respect Roman, French people, the word wake up. Yes. Hi, Zach. Hi, Corey. It's about time. Hunter. Yep. We have been in Birmingham today. But there was only the small amount of us. That's not a problem. It's starting with a small amount and it's growing, growing, growing. Don't wait to come to a big event to spread the message. Use your yellow suit every day and write messages behind in red. So people will see that. They will be like, okay, what this rig is about. And then you can explain them what it is. If people just come now, like, please watch the beginning of the video. I'm going to stop soon. I don't want this video to be too long. I spoke a lot already. Just going to answer a few questions and then we're going to stop. Greeting from Finland. I'm John Doe from Finland, also known as Jenny Nimpton. We need to be a non-hierarchical. We must not incorporate into political system. Instead, change the system with Rick. Yes, you got it, bro. You got it. We all need to be like Anonymous. Do you agree? Of course, of course. Like, we shouldn't come with any other identity than Rick. No identity. Not a woman, not a man, not a old person, not a young person, not a left, not a right, not a gay, not a straight, nothing that divide. It's the smallest denominator. We all come as human beings. We all bleed red, okay? And the same red needs to be written on the yellow RIC, Referendum Initiated by the Citizen. By the way, we chose RIC because we didn't use a referendum initiated by the people because it would have been RIP. But it's up to you. If you want to use Rest in Peace or Referendum Initiated by the People, it's up to you. Like, it's RIP, but RIP for the fake democracy, basically. But yeah, RIC is more positive, let's say. On UK radio, they said France has slowed down. Bullshit. We are growing and growing and growing. Like, there's like, now we easily reach more than 3, 4, 5 million. I don't know exactly, but it's easily reaching more than 4 million. And 4 million is, I believe, something like 8 or 10% of the population. I think 8% of the population. With only 3.6% of the population, we already have a revolution. This is what statistically has been proven. With 8%, we can't lose. Do you understand? We can't lose. It is going to happen. Stop doubting about it. Do your job. Take your yellow suit, write Rick on the back and speak about it every day. We will not stop. Okay? Do your part of the job. We must hold hands and unite against them like World War II. Yes. What is RIC? You missed the beginning, bro. You have to come back and listen to what is the RIC. RIC is standing for Referendum Initiated by the Citizen. RIC, Referendum Initiated by the Citizen. This is the antidote to all our issues. Over to the French, wanted a fly. I'm in the UK. Great, Wendy. Nice to meet you. Zach, hello. Sophia. We all have power. Rick, yes, you got it. You got it. Hey guys from France, Rick is the solution. Yes, 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 yes. Yes! We have it. Referendum initiated by the citizen. All right, guys, thank you very much. Please share this video. And please, if you want to get in touch with me, stop asking me as a friend, as a person. I'm not going to have any more space soon. So please go on my Facebook page, RIC, Referendum Initiated by the Citizen. Like the page, and if you want to support, if you want to help, if you want to donate, just click on message. If you want to book a call, if you have a radio show, if you have friends who have a radio show and they want me to come and spread the same message that I just gave you, just go into RIC, R-I-C, Referendum Initiated by Citizen on Facebook, and then write a message, book an appointment, and yeah, it was Roman Light. I love you guys, you're amazing. Thank you for all your support. It's happening. Bear with me. We all waited for this. We are the revolution we were waiting for. Don't doubt about it. It's happening. Love you guys. Take care. Bye.